Okay, third grade. So I've got another project for you here. This one's going to be using Scratch to make some music. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to switch over to the screen mode here so that you can see what's going on. Try to follow along as best you can. If I go too fast and you need to pause or stop or rewind or something like that, feel free to do so. And yeah, let's see what happens after we do this. Okay, third grade, you can see I'm on the Scratch website right now. I'm logged in myself. That way I can save my work. I'm just going to come over here to create. I'm going to click on create and get a new Scratch template to work with. So we're going to be making a song, right? So we need some instruments to do that. So the first thing I want to do is I don't really want this cat. That's not going to be helpful to me. So I'm going to click on the trash can by the cat and get rid of the cat. I'm then going to come in over here and I'm going to choose a sprite and I'm going to just work with music. So I'm going to click on music up here and I can see all the instruments that I have access to. And I'm going to start with using a trumpet. So I'm going to click on the trumpet and you can see I now have a trumpet on my stage. And what I might do is I might change my backdrop a little bit and maybe have something a little bit more stage-like. So maybe the spotlight. Maybe the theater, we'll see. So I'll go with the spotlight for now, but certainly feel free to choose whatever backdrop you want or just leave it white. The other thing I want you to notice is that with this trumpet, if I go to the costumes, I have two images of it. One is just the plain trumpet, and the second one has sort of like these lines coming out to make it seem like it's playing, right? So we might take advantage of that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the trumpet, I'm going to click on code and go back into my code. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get the trumpet to play a note. And I'm going to have it play a note when I click on the green flag. So we're going to go over to events and bring out when green flag is clicked. Now we're going to put together a series of notes. So this is actually going to get pretty long. So try to stay with me as best you can. So we do when green flag is clicked. And then the next thing that I want to do is I actually want those little lines to come out so that it looks like the horn is blowing. So I'm going to go to looks. And I'm going to bring out, and it says next costume. I'm going to bring that out. And you can see that when I click on the green flag now, it'll switch back and forth, right? Keep showing the next costume so that I can see the little music lines come out and play. The next thing I want to do is I actually want it to now play a note. So I'm going to go to sound, and I'm going to bring out, I have two sort of options here. I can do play sound until done, or I can just do start sound. Now what I want to do is I want to start the sound because I might want to have the next sound start up before this sound is done. So this allows me to do the timing a little bit better. So I'm just going to do start sound like that. And the sound that I want to make is the C trumpet, not the C2. So this is a lower C, this is a higher C. So if I click on it like this, right, we get a higher C. And if I change this to C, we get a lower C, okay? So we're going to start with the low C. And then what we want to have happen is we want Scratch to just wait a minute before it plays the next sound. Because if I were to bring this out again, right, and change this to a C, I want it to go bump, bump, but it's just going to sound like one. It's just playing that same sound twice in a row. So if I go over to control and bring out wait and put that in between the two of them, and I'm only going to wait for half a second, so I'm going to change this to 0.5. Now listen to the difference. So now I get the two sounds back to back like that, and that's kind of what I want. So now it's just a question of stringing together all these different sounds to come up with the little song that we want to make. So actually what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to looks, and I'm going to go to next costume. Okay, and I'm going to put this in after the wait command. Okay, and then I'm going to go to control, and I'm going to bring out another wait, and we'll just wait for 0.5 seconds here. Whoops, not that, 0.5, 0.5 like that, okay? So now you'll see the costume will change a little bit when we do it. See how it came on and off, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna string together a series of different notes, all right? So we've got two C's. The next sounds that I wanna make are two G's, all right? So what I'm actually going to do is just to make this a little bit easier, I'm gonna tell this to wait 0.5 seconds here. Actually, no, I'm not. Let's not do that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click and duplicate this, okay? So I could go through and just bring all these back out again, but if I click on the right side and do duplicate, I'll get all those guys and like this. So now I'm playing 4 straight C's, but I don't want to do that. My next note I want to do is a G. So I'm going to change, these first two C's are good, The second two are both going to be G's. So I'm going to switch this to a G and switch this to a G. Okay, now it'll sound like this, right? And you might already start to recognize what song we're going to start playing here. So we've got the two G's. I'm going to click on where it says next costume here, okay, right in the middle. So the 1, 2, third one down. I'm going to right click on that and duplicate and bring all of these down to the bottom. All right, yeah, you can stop that. So we have two G's. Now our next note is going to be two A's. So I'm going to switch this G to an A and this G to an A. All right, and now, yes, I think you can recognize this. All right, now for this next one, it's going to be a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on next costume here, just the bottom one, and duplicate that. We don't need to play it right now. And we're going to switch this to a G trumpet. And we want to actually wait here for 1 second because this is sort of where we get to the end of the first stanza. So I'm going to bring that back to a 1, okay? And then we're ready sort of for the next part of our song. So if I just click out over here to the side, I can move this up and around so I can get more room down at the bottom. But basically what I want to do is I want to go 2 next costumes up, right click and duplicate and bring this down. Stop. All right, now these two notes are going to be Fs and they're both going to be 0.5. So this is going to be an F, this is going to be an F, and this is going to be 0.5. Okay, and now you can hear. Okay, we're getting closer and closer, right? So I'm going to click again and drag this down so I have a little bit more room. So after our 2 Fs, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in an E. So I'm going to right click on next costume, duplicate it, change this to an E. And actually we need one more of those, don't we? We should have duplicated 2 of them. All right, and so we need to do this next costume. So we're going to go up 2 next costumes again, right click and duplicate and bring those down. We're going to switch these to a D. Right, so these next 2 are a D. And then our last one is going to be a C. So we're just going to do next costume, just the 1, duplicate. Notice our trumpet playing here. Whoop, forgot to change this down to a C. All right, so we're going to put that at a C. And that's going to be our basic, the main line of our music. In the next video, we're going to add a little bit, some more instruments, maybe some harmony, and really have this start to sound a little bit different. So we'll check you out then.